Hi, this is Billie Beene here with another segment of Truth by Billie Beene Special Report. Today's date, October 19, 2022. New. This is my third YouTube channel. Excuse me. I have a subscribe button in the lower right corner of my screen. Thanks for like, subscribe, and share. Episode 443. CIA Darpa monster possibly killed 4 men near Okmulgee, Oklahoma recently. So let's get to it. I've been researching this and seems to fit together. Okay. Israeli News Live, Stephen Benoon, formerly with the CIA, now as the ministry, but regularly gets updates from the Pentagon. On October 14, came out with a YouTube, CIA wants money to end super soldier program. And it turns out this program began in the 1980s, signed off by Bill Clinton and others. And what they did a cross of human, wolf, bear, and lion. And it was super soldiers, male and female, who did agree to take and have their genetics modified, but what happened was they lost their human soul, so to speak. They retained an high IQ. They could still manipulate. They could still plan. Speech is unknown and other things. But they were designed to mate. Now, the originals were chipped. And since the 1980s, they've been tracked by the CIA, and they released them in Brazil, and one has recently been caught in Brazil. I think Stephen had a picture of it on his site. I'll link for you. China, Russia, Ukraine, and 17 U.S. national parks. 17. Now, recently, in the last 6 months, Stephen had come out with this, that it was Yellowstone and also parks in Colorado where they had located some of these super soldiers that were still chipped. But let's be clear, since the 1980s, these individuals were mating with one another and most likely with other animals. So the offspring are not chipped, but they would definitely be monsters. This is one of the reasons God despises genetic manipulation, because whatever's produced doesn't have the soul that God and spirit that God puts in to his creations. So, monsters. So in Colorado, we have Colorado, and now we have Oklahoma. And they've lost track of these individuals, and recently the CIA wanted $10 million to track down what they could find and euthanize them, because they've lost their humanity. Now, recently in Oklahoma, right about here in Okmulgee, Oklahoma, 4 men were found dismembered, and I'll show you where this happened. So for me, I give God the credit. That's how things come together for me. God is the editor of my videos. These 4 men, recent deaths. Okay. So we have 4 men in Okmulgee, Oklahoma. And they disappeared on October 9, and a report was turned in on October 10. And then they were found about October 15. Well, this podcast that Stephen came out with came out October 14. So the dates are relevant. I submit to you the CIA was involved in tracking these individuals. Now, they left their home on bicycles, and I submit they had guns with them. They later found them in a river near Okmulgee, and they were all shot and dismembered. And this is what Stephen had reported was being found in this past year or so in Yellowstone National Park. Also, pentagrams outside where the body remains were found of people in Yellowstone National Park and other national parks. I submit to you that the genetic manipulation, the removing of the human soul, allowed demons to come in to these individuals who were in 17 national parks and who were mating and then mating with other animals as far as we know. And I submit they've come down from Colorado to Oklahoma. The local police chief there said where they found the bodies, this was a dumping site. And what they did, they were on bicycles, and they're trying to say they were planning some kind of crime. I don't believe that. I think they were onto something. Maybe they'd seen one of these creatures, and they were going to use their bicycles to go deep in the woods in this area and try to capture it. They went to 2 salvage yards, I submit, to get something to help them capture them. And the individuals from Okmulgee, Oklahoma, Mark Chastain, 32, Billy Chastain, 30, Mike Sparks, 32, Alex Stevens, 29, lifelong friends. And then the police said also they had a person of interest, not a suspect. Well, it turned out to be an individual named Joe Kennedy, 67, who owned one of the 2 salvage yards. And they tracked them. They went from, I think it was Mark or Billy's house on October 9 on their bicycles, and they went to 2 salvage yards, I submit, to pick up something. And the river where their bodies were found is nearby. And they were found 4 days later, October 9, 10, 11, 12. And I think the 15th, they were pulling them out of the river. Now, I submit that these Darpa individuals, Darpa CIA super soldiers who are no longer human, committed the crimes. So it'll be interesting to see how this turns out. So, now we know for sure, but they need to be captured and tracked down and euthanized. They're no longer human. They are genuinely monsters. Okay, I love you, and I'll see you soon.